Alrighty then, welcome back to EPIC38. I am Molten and I am joined by my teammate Bramaria. How are we doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very excited to be here at this Epic LAN.
Yeah?
Only just arrived, unfortunately.
He's just walked through the door and he's
literally,
already cast it.
Here I am.
That's passion, folks.
Yeah, passion.
Well, passion would have been coming yesterday, but you know.
Well, you know.
I'll let you off.
Each to their own. But yeah, I was watching streams this morning. I was like, you know what? I need to be there. So if you are local, if you do live, you know, an hour or two away from here, get yourself down. Come and watch some live StarCraft 2.
Ah, yes.
Might not be around for much longer.
Oh, wow, that was depressing. Yeah, fair enough. Stormgate, I'm sure, will save us, but
Yes,
we'll
definitely.
see. But right now, we've got Voltacus against RosscO. Now, Voltacus just finished doing an online exam. Was that on how to beat Protoss? No, probably not.
But he does have prior experience of beating Protosses in Epic LAN tournaments.
All right, the less said about that, the better. Moving swiftly on.
Somewhat of a Protoss sniper here and there.
Yeah, he can do some very weird stuff, to be fair, and I do expect him to do some weird stuff here. RosscO's very good, probably about 700 MR above him at least right now.
RosscO having a great tournament so far, beating Seb.
RosscO's popping off. Risky's Protoss, 2-0 against Seb.
Yeah.
He's not lost a map yet,
No.
and he's going to top the group, whatever happens here, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So, expecting it to be, you know, an interesting match. As you said, Volt's going to have to come out with some special strategies, something a bit different, as he usually does. Probably look for RosscO just to play a bit standard, really, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I hope RosscO does that. I hope RosscO, move your mic a little bit, and I hope RosscO, excuse me, I hope Volt doesn't try and play normal or anything. I want him to play weird.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's such a large MMR difference here that I just don't feel like any sort of standard play coming out of Volt will be good enough for RosscO. I think he's so much more skilled than he is in that macro long game.
I think so. I mean, RosscO's clearly on great form, as we said, so I expect him to be able to take this very comfortably. But that's what I thought when I played against Voltacus a few lands ago, and there were barracks in dark places, there were command center in even darker places.
Terran is one of those races that, you know, if your scouting isn't on top, if they catch you unprepared, you know, they can take a game off of you here and there. Regardless of that
Terran
MMR difference.
conglomerate is pretty strong these days, I heard.
Of course,
world champ. Must be nice, you know.
Exactly. So with the new patch and the new maps, what are your thoughts around Terran versus Protoss these days?
The new maps for TVP. I think they're pretty well balanced, to be fair. I'm trying to think of a map that's really good for Terran or a map that's really good for Protoss, and none really come to mind. I mean, wide maps like Grezvan, Neo Humanity, they're a bit awkward, and there are some nice spots for drops and dead space, but there's nothing insane. I haven't seen any abuse of the maps per se from either race, I don't think.
No, and of course, I think one of the bigger changes in the matchup was down to the Raven build time difference. So 10 seconds quicker now, is it? So, you know, previously they'd probably only go get one, you know, rarely in a build. But I think it might be becoming a bit more common these days, just simply because of that build time.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how the Protoss is playing as well. The Raven is so strong against those robo units like Colossi, especially in the early game where you might only have 1 or 2 Colossi. If you can interference matrix those, that can just win you the fight straight up immediately as Terran.
Definitely. As we're just waiting to get into the lobby here.
Since Voltacus is, you know what's such a bait? I just casted Raza against Igo on this. And Raza was playing on an account named Voltacus. So that account that we're looking at right now, that's Raza.
Ah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Quite. RosscO is in menu. Presumably they're vetoing right now. But as I said, and this is something I've been struggling with in the tournament, I don't know what to veto.
Yeah, I think if we load up the maps here, I think there's one of them which I'm not a massive fan of. Altitude.
Altitude's a really big one. I think that is the most commonly vetoed map, just because people are uncomfortable with playing on such a big map after it's been years since we've had a map that big in the map pool.
It reminds me of like the old style 4-player maps, kind of in the layout and the design of it, but of course with the 2 layout maps, you obviously don't have that difference between spawn locations. But yeah, I get what you mean then, as there are 2 Voltacuses online.
There are 2 Voltacuses online.
as I think we're about to jump into the lobby here.
To a party. How exciting!
Yeah, exciting times. So, what's your predictions for this match?
2-0 RosscO.
2-0 RosscO.
Very comfortable. He's going to continue his domination. He's going to finish top of his group, which gives him a very good seed going into the round of 16 of Code S.
Yeah, definitely. Well deserved as well from what I've seen.
But as RosscO slightly mentioned last night in McDonald's, he's finished 4th for EPIC38 a couple times before. He's used to having pretty deep runs in Code S. I'm sure he'll be looking to have another one here. And today's been a very weird first day of EPIC38. Almost always there's 1 or 2 upsets.
Yeah.
But nothing on the scale of RosscO winning his group when it has RosscO and 7.
No,
that's
but
crazy.
I mean, it's a bit like you can't read too much into it. I think RosscO was playing Protoss, which is about 5.4k MMR.
True.
I think, and PvP is such a volatile matchup that it can really go anywhere. As we are actually loading into the first map, Royal Blood here.
Royal Blood, one of the shorter maps in the map pool, still a reasonable distance. Fortunately, we have no crazy short maps like we did in the last map pool, and here we are in the southwest, in the blue, playing Terran. It's Voltacus. Let's take a seat so we can actually observe some Starcraft.
Sounds like a good idea to me. And spawning in the top right position as the green Protoss player, topping his group, RosscO.
Beautiful. All right then, I have no idea what the controls are. Best of 3, there we go. I've nailed that, haven't I?
As we do actually see on the side of Voltacus, an SCV coming out.
And this is a very early probe as well.
Interesting.
Okay, both players potentially up to no good here. Where's this SCV headed?
I think this is RosscO just playing incredibly safe. I think, you know, he's just going to go check, make sure there's no proxy. Oh. I like it.
Second one leave, and it is going to be a 3 racks by Voltacus. 2 of them almost proxied, but more just hidden.
This would have been a 4 racks, I believe, if the probe hadn't come in. I think he was sending that SCV out just to build that 4th barracks.
I wonder if he'll just build a 4th barracks with this SCV after this one. Well, it'll be a little late. But
typically when you proxy 4 of them, you only send 3 SCVs out. As we actually see that SCV really close to dying there. Thankfully the RNG of the build saved it there, but very close to losing that first SCV.
Very close. Right, so as RosscO, what are you thinking now?
I'm thinking something.
Are you thinking anything?
Well, yeah, because he's scouting the entire map. He feels like there might be something proxied, but it's so close to Voltacus's base that I just don't ever think that RosscO's going to look there. As I say, that is pathing straight there.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Yeah. No.
RosscO's going to be able to get a scout on this, and I mean, once you scout this, you know your opponent's so all in. All you have to do is make units and batteries,
and Voltacus must be thinking, why are you scouting there? Because that is an incredibly ridiculous scout.
Cannot be happy about that. Especially when the whole right side of the map hasn't been checked yet, and yet this location on the left side is somehow scouted by RosscO.
Yeah, incredible game sense there by RosscO. He could sense something was up. He needed to make sure that, you know, there weren't anything proxied. As we actually see a Sentry being chrono boosted.
How do you feel about RosscO trying to hold the high ground?
No, I think he's okay. I think he's pulled SCVs, so I think this is actually a really decent decision.
Oh boy, here come the boys.
But he's going to rely on that force field. If he misses the force field by 1 pixel, this is game over.
True.
So as we actually see,
Battery is going to finish up. RosscO needs to be careful with his force field here, and he actually force fields everything out.
But there isn't anything else here.
Will that buy him enough time?
These are the only units and a Stalker coming out that RosscO's going to have. He's going to have a very, very solid defence here to actually manage. As we do see the units now going up into base.
Battery overcharge, perhaps a little preemptive, and the Zealot needs to be careful.
I'm surprised he backed off there. I think he could have surrounded the Zealot and killed it away from battery overcharge.
Do you think Volt ever goes home here after killing the natural?
No, I think this is such a commitment. He'd have to do some proper economic damage to actually be able to return on here.
Now with only 1 battery here and no overcharge, that's a lot of Marines. That's a serious amount of Marines. The Zealot goes down. The probes are now going to be pulled. Another Stalker is going to pop. Another one in production. The battery's out of energy. It's Voltacus doing it. The probes are pulled. They're going down. But is it enough damage? He needs to win the game with this push. He's lost all of his SCVs.
Yeah, I think RosscO's going to be fine here as long as micro. He's going
to
actually lose a Stalker. Wow, he's going to lose the second one.
Oh my goodness, that's actually insane that Stalker.
But even more probes are going down here and
coming in.
Wow.
Battery finishing up, keeping this Stalker alive. 2 more Stalkers warp in, and that is going to be enough, surely, for RosscO. But my goodness, wasn't he close to losing there? If that Stalker goes down, I think Volt might have had the game. He does have an orbital at home.
Yeah, I think it's worth continuing here for Voltacus.
Yeah, I think it is.
He's done so much economic damage, but with 2 Nexuses up, I mean, RosscO can just go across the side of a base and kite these Marines all day. Yeah, GG.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious me, that was an insane game. I can't believe that Volt almost won that after RosscO scouted it so quickly. I was like, okay, game 2, let's go.
But that's the thing, he did scout it quickly, but he didn't build any proper units. He built the sentry, which is fine, and that was it. There was such a time, you know.
I also don't like what you did with the force field. He force fielded it out for time, but if you just force field the army in half, you can 100% kill half that army.
Yeah, exactly. There was already a battery up. You know, if things were going south, he could have just popped that battery overcharge against half of the army, clear it up, and then the second half is again much easier to clear up while your Stalker's coming out.
And and the battery overcharge was perhaps a little bit fast as well. Could have bought some more time there.
But really interesting scout there by RosscO initially to send it the pylon. It's not typical to send the scout after a pylon. So he must have had some sort of inkling that was what Voltacus was going to do.
Fair enough.
So really good there
by RosscO to do that.
As we are about to load into map number 2, Babylon.
Babylon. Pretty similar map, all things considered. This map pool is at least a little different, whereas the last map pool, a lot of the maps were the same. But this is a pretty similar one.
It is. There's nothing really, anything different to a standard map here, really.
And in the southeast, what does he have prepared for us for game number 2? In the red, playing Terran, it's Voltacus.
And with all there, going 1-0 up, spawning as the green Protoss player, it's RosscO.
1 map away from whitewashing his group.
And sending a probe out before the pylon this time.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is this going to be a proxy gate?
Yeah, I think this has to be a proxy gate, so 2 gates.
Oh, no, it looks like he's just going to go up into the main of Volt here.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Volt not proxying anything just yet. Here comes the probe.
Interesting decision here by RosscO. I mean, very early to send the scout. You're going to do a bit of harassment on that FCV build in the barracks, but, you know, I'm not sure I like it, to be honest.
I think it's a bit overkill by RosscO. Maybe thinking about it just a bit too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the scout last game did such a great job, I don't see any reason to change it.
No. As this time we are actually going into that more standard opening so far. So it was after barracks, so I suspect it's going to be a reprint to expand here by Voltacus.
I know Volt traditionally likes to play macro games, it's just when he's playing against a better player. Obviously there is some pressure to start doing weird cheeses, and it is often a good idea to do that. But
I think it worked really well last time. I'd have been interested to see what would have happened with the 4 racks rather than the 3 racks if RosscO hadn't scouted. But with what he had, he really gave us a game there.
Yeah. Gave us a sweat. It's always a sweat.
I see this probe blocking the command centre, just not at all actually. It just reached 400 minerals and dropped it down.
Did get the scout on it, back home, Cybercore and an expand, all very normal for the Red Dragons Protoss.
As we see Voltacus about to drop that factory in his main base after going into the reactor.
The mouse sensitivity on this is so low compared to mine, it's hilarious. Did you see the cards yet, by the way?
Yeah, I saw them online on Discord.
But now they're in person and real.
Wow.
They're amazing. I'm a big fan.
As we did see that Marine pick off the scouting probe finally, so he's got that bit of... he knows that there's not going to be anything proxies on the map from that probe that is just killed.
Yeah, both players just comfortably macroing up, and look at that, a Robo first from Mr. RosscO.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Robo
Someone
first.
telling me he's not playing PvP. Oh, and this Adept is... Hello? What? Wow. He literally had the shot lined up and then turned around.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what RosscO's going to do, whether he drops the Robotics Bay afterwards and takes a leaf out of my...
Disruptor drop or Colossus drop?
I think so. That's what it looks like from now.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no Twilight, there's no more gates coming down. I can't see what else it's going to be, to be honest.
Adept shading in.
Ooh,
Supply depot just gets up in time. Nicely done by Voltacus. That means RosscO still has no idea what's going on.
I'd love Voltacus to do this and just push out to see if he can snipe that Adept if RosscO's not paying attention.
Adept gonna come in again. Volt needs to raise the depot, and he does just in time.
I think RosscO's getting a bit mind gamed here, to be honest. Yeah. I think he's really unsure about what Voltacus is gonna do, such as this.
Volt just lifted up this barracks and then put it straight back down.
As we do see that Twilight counter coming down now after just some observers coming out.
Yeah, this is a very safe play from RosscO, just getting the Robo for observers.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, but it is a bit boring, and I wanted to see a Colossus drop. So
yeah, same. Rather sad there.
Thanks, RosscO.
But we are actually going to see a 8 Marine drop, I think, is going to be coming out here by Voltacus.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Medevac just being sent straight across the map. The Stalker's in the dark. Two ships passing in the night.
But there's not actually anything in this Medevac.
And it's that observer coming into play from RosscO that made him able to see that Medevac. But yeah, that's just a distraction. There's nothing in it.
No. Interesting players coming out here by Voltacus. As he does drop the second and third barracks. So just going to... Viking already. Interesting.
I don't really know what the Viking's for. You'd really only build it if there was a prism to worry about. I mean, I guess, does RosscO know what's going on at all? He's seen a few Stalkers. Yeah, maybe I don't hate the Viking. Maybe he thinks it's some sort of 3-gate, 4-gate blink opener, and the Viking can be used against the prism. These Stalkers looking for the Viking.
Actually,
hello. He does get it.
Interesting attack here coming out from Voltacus.
Yeah, just a one tank and good kiting by RosscO. He's just going to be able to do so much damage to this army before he
doesn't want to lose that one Stalker there. Oh, he loses a Stalker. He's going to lose a second Stalker for nothing here.
Hello? Wow. RosscO, are we awake today, buddy? I said the same thing about Iger last series. Some very dodgy micro coming out, but there's just not much here. But there is a second tank coming. And now this is a serious position for Voltacus. Oh, yeah,
I think RosscO did just enough to be able to pick off the Marines there. Yeah. I mean, he reduced the Marines by half, and this push isn't particularly that scary anymore. And
killing one of the tanks is so huge before the other one sieged up. The Immortal does fall, but that's not enough damage for Voltacus. He does have a third base on the way.
And with Blink almost completed here, he's just going to be able to kill all of these and potentially match across the map and win the game.
Yeah, there is a tank out, so I don't think he'll be able to win the game just yet, but we see Stim and Combat Shields only just starting up. Volt really can't do much for the next 2 minutes in this game.
This is a nice pick-off. Yeah.
RosscO just needs to keep building those probes, extend that worker lead, and he should be okay.
Yeah.
But the game's not over yet.
No. Interesting build by Voltacus, I think, you know.
By interesting, do you mean bad, or are you were you just being nice? Or?
Yeah, I didn't particularly like it.
Okay.
I think he didn't scout anything. I think against a player such as RosscO, you're going to expect him to go into that safe blink play.
Yeah.
He's going to have plenty of Stalkers across your side of the map. That's going to be able to kite the Marines for days.
I do like this, though. Yeah. Viking coming in, some harassers, and Immortal at the space, and the pull from RosscO is instant.
Yeah, lovely bit play there by RosscO. As we just go into that macro game now, Robotics Bay dropped for RosscO, and the Steam and Combat Shields and +1 is finishing up shortly for Voltacus.
Viking coming in to the main base as well, and the pull from RosscO is not quite as instant this time, but there is a battery, and okay, I mean,
a bit overkill,
I don't know
I
if
think.
he thinks he has Coco's second overcharge or something.
As we do actually see the second Viking attack and die to a Stalker in the natural.
Murdered. It's not being an amazing trade from Mr. Voltacus so far.
I like the things that he's trying.
Yeah,
you know,
it's good ideas.
He knows that he's behind. He knows he needs to get some damage done. I like what he's doing, but RosscO's just too well prepared at the moment to be able to do them. I'd have liked him if he'd have paired the Vikings up together to have that double DPS rather than single.
Especially would have been able to eat through a battery, eating the probes. Dark Shrine on the way for RosscO. Always a nice building to have.
And the Templar Archive coming down as well.
Hello.
As we see...
I got excited there.
To be fair, I wouldn't have hated it. Similar to what Oliveira did against Time in Katowice.
Oliveira did against Time.
Against Zero, sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, there's no splash just yet, but there are now Colossi on the way with that extended thermal lance as well. But Fault's even on supply. He's got 3 orbitals. He's got an upgrade finishing up. Ship weapons level 1. Yep, that's an upgrade that exists in the game.
I mean, Voltacus certainly made it a game. I just worry about going into the area of game where RosscO excels. You know, he is a strong mid-late game player.
That's true.
And yeah, he is even and up on supply, which is credit to him. Big supply block here.
2 scans is a bit mad, but at least he sees the Colossi.
Yeah.
So he knows that he can keep building these soon-to-be +1 Vikings.
Yeah, it's just when the Storm as well comes into there. There's no Ghost Academy dropped, and you know that highly technical army that Voltacus needs is not going towards it yet.
He's building a second starport, it seems.
I don't hate it, to be honest. To get some of them more Vikings out, and
then
eventually
you can always go to Liberators later on.
Exactly, yeah.
But yes, he does really need a Ghost Academy right now, and potentially some more barracks as well. We're only on 5 barracks.
5, I think, yeah.
Definitely want to kick up that production soon.
I think it's a decent amount for now. I mean, with the second star port coming in, I wouldn't seem that Ghost Academy drop and transition into that more late game. But I think he needs to scout that the actual Templar Archives have dropped and Storm's researching, because at the moment he's just seen the Colossus. And it's a completely different game going up against 3-4 Colossus than it is 3 Colossus and 4 Templar with Storm. And another observer site there.
Murdered that observer. 5th base going down now for RosscO. He's having quite a chill game. He's not really been under too much pressure.
Yeah, RosscO's just going through the motions here, getting his base setters up, make sure his defences are there.
We do see the Ghost Academy coming down now for Voltacus, maybe in the nick of time. I do wonder if RosscO is going to move out soon, or if either player is going to move out soon. To be fair, they're both nearing in on maxing out.
Yeah. I'd love Voltacus just to go and deny that 5th base now. He saw that the entire army of RosscO was down by his 4th. I'd love for him to just go straight up to that 5th base and deny it.
And he sees it now with this rogue Widow Mine that came in and got 1 kill. And that looks like to be Voltacus' plan. Yeah, and as you say, really not a fan of this army position from RosscO. It's so far out of position. And for a game where he started with so much vision, he seems to have none, and he has no idea that he's about to lose his 5th base.
I would love Voltacus just to load up on his medevacs and go straight into the main base. Just
that would be cool. But he
only has 2 medevacs.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Yeah,
no cancel on that 5th base, by the way.
Nope. As
Blizzard, hello. Nope. Interesting.
Actually,
oh my goodness, what an ugly fight this is. The Vikings getting so many shots on the Colossus. One goes down.
Storm
behind this. 18 SCVs are dying. The Storms miss. The DTs are doing damage. That's a great Storm there. And the Colossi will fall, but the DTs on the ground kill so much for RosscO. And behind this, it's Zealots in the 3rd, it's Zealots in the natural.
Wow.
And it's lights out.
That just, we were in a 4 base versus 4 base setup, and then suddenly the game ends.
And then suddenly he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought initially that fight, that fight initially was really good for Voltacus. Yeah. It picked off the units. They were kind of split around that rock area. And I think if Voltacus had just backed off and just taken what he got and, you know, breathe and split up his army a bit more, I think it could have gone a bit differently there. But great play by RosscO. Having them Dark Templars in his army did so much damage.
Yeah, and even without that main fight going on, behind that, RosscO killed 31 SCVs just with Zealots in the natural and the 3rd, and that is just the multitasking that you'll see on RosscO's Epic Land card, as all the players have. It's probably pretty high. But I haven't actually seen RosscO's card.
No, I've not seen
any.
any.
84 rated.
Right, wow.
Could be wrong.
Fantastic game there. And I believe that's it for now.
Yeah, so we're going to be wrapping things up for now from EPIC38. But we are now done with the group stages. So that means we're going to be progressing into Code S and Code A. So the top 4 players from each group will be going into Code S, a round of 16 double elimination bracket. And we are going to have a dinner break now, and then we will play the first round of that later on tonight and close it all out tomorrow. So thank you guys very much for watching.
Thank you very much. Lots more Starcraft to have.
I've been Molten, and that's been Vimaria, and we will see you in a short while.